Hey everyone, Mr. MCA here. This is a guide for round 5 of the 2023 Manufacturers Cup taking place at Spa 24 hours with any Group 4 car. So I'm with the Porsche obviously, which is not that fast here. But anyways, this is a 16 lap race for those in GT1, 8 lap race for those in GT2 and 3, where fuel is a ×2, tire ×4. You can adjust the brake balance. You have the racing medium and hard tires available, but only the racing hard tires are required. So you need to use the racing hard tires for at least one lap so you don't get a 1 minute penalty after the race ends. And we're going to go on over to the race strategies because the Cayman is so slow here. But anyways, 16 lap race for those in GT1, 8 lap race for those in GT2 and 3. And if you've seen some of the recent delay races where you have 2 tire compounds available but only one of them is required, that's pretty much the same situation over here. You have the racing medium and hard tires available, but only the racing hard tires are the required tires. So you have to use the racing hard tires for at least one lap so you don't get a 1 minute penalty after the race ends. So you do the time trial on the racing medium tires, you do the qualifier on the racing medium tires, but for the race you switch over to the racing hard tires because you're going to do a 0 stop on the racing hard tires. This is especially the case because this is the 24-hour layout of Spa, so you're using the entire pit stop. So your pit loss is going to be, well, it's going to be massive. It's around 52 seconds, and no, I'm not joking about that. So to show you how slow the one stop is, we're gonna go ahead and compare 2 runs. So on the left is where I'm doing the 0 stop on the racing hard tires, so all 16 laps, and on the right is where I do a 1 stop. So on the right I do 13 laps on the racing medium tires and only 3 laps on the racing hard tires. So let's go ahead and start the clip. So my 0 stop run, he's around 15 seconds behind the 1 stopper right now. So he has quite a bit of time that he needs to make up, but he's easily going to make it up once the 1 stopper goes in for the tire change. So the 1 stopper has gone in for the tire change, and I'm gonna play it out. I'm gonna play out the entire thing because this is how slow the 1 stop is. So the 1 stopper is, well, he still hasn't reached his pit box yet. He has to go around turn number 1 while going to the pit lane. Meanwhile, the 0 stopper is just approaching turn number 1, so he's pretty much already catching up to the 1 stopper. And the 1 stopper still has not reached the pit box yet. The 0 stopper has pretty much passed the 1 stopper at this point, and well, you can see how painful the 1 stop is. There you go. So the 1 stopper is barely approaching the pit box. He's finally getting his tires changed from the racing medium to the racing hard tires because again, the racing hard tires are the required tire compound. And well, guess what? He still has to crawl his way out of the pit stop, and then he has to go through the old pit stop exit, so he has to carefully navigate through there to not get the 3-second penalty for crossing the pit lines. And the 0 stopper, well, he's already well past the Camel Straight, so he's already getting close to approaching X, which is the upcoming left turn. And there we go. So the 1 stopper is finally onto the Camel Straight, and well, he's still losing time because he did get a slower exit out of the pit stop because he has to go through a couple extra turns. And there we go. So right around here, this is where the 1 stopper will finally stop losing time to the 0 stopper, but the damage is already done. The 0 stopper is already past the pull-on corners, and the 1 stopper, he's barely out of the Camel Straight. And the 1 stopper is definitely not going to catch up to the 0 stopper. If we go ahead and skip forward towards the end of the race, so the 1 stopper might barely be catching up to the 0 stopper because depending on the car, the 0 stopper might have worn tires. I know there's quite a bit of tire wear on the Cayman, but it's still pretty drivable, so the Cayman isn't losing too much time whereas the one-stopper, they're on fresh hard tires. But still, again, as I said earlier, the damage has already been done. The one-stopper is not going to catch up to the zero-stopper, and actually the zero-stopper has already crossed the finish line, getting a 39-minute 59-second run, and that was even after making multiple mistakes, because I think the zero-stop run lost around 5 seconds due to driver error. You can blame the driver for that because he was driving like a doofus. But there we go, the one-stopper is barely about to cross the finish line over 30 seconds later. That's how slow the one-stop is. Please do not do a one-stop in this race. Make sure you do the entire race on the racing hard tires, because you see right here, the one-stop did a 40.34. So again, more than 30 seconds slower than the zero-stop. Alright, so I'm going to go back to this replay. So this was the zero-stop run, because again, you should be doing the zero-stop run on the racing hard tires. So only use the racing medium tires for time trial and the qualifying. The entire race, use the racing hard tires. But when you're starting the race, you're going to be on cold racing hard tires, so you want to be nice and careful throughout your first 1 to 2 laps as your tires build up temperature, because at the start of the race your tires are going to be cold and there's going to be no grip. You see that right now, where I'm just struggling to go through the end of the Kimmel straight, as the racing hard tires, they're not heated up yet. But this is where it's gonna be either a pretty straightforward zero-stop race on the racing hard tires, or it's gonna be an utter nightmare, because it's going to come down to the car that you're using. So if you're like me and you're using the Cayman, all you need to do is move the brake balance towards the back of the car. So I would say anywhere from +2 to +5, and just drive around. That's pretty much it for the Cayman. And yeah, the Cayman is not going to have any good pace, but at least it doesn't have to deal with the tire wear shenanigans as much as some of the other cars. What I mean is that if you're in an all-wheel drive car or your front-wheel drive car, yeah, good luck, because those front tires are going to melt. And for those people that are in the all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive cars, this race is actually a mega tire saving race. So yeah, good luck, because you're gonna need it. And even if your racing hard tires completely wear out, yeah, it's still faster than doing a one-stop. So to skip on over towards the end of lap number 8, we're doing good on fuel. I don't think fuel will be an issue for anyone in this race. It's mainly the tire wear, and that's gonna depend on the car that you're using. So taking a look at the Cayman's tire wear, not that much tire wear, as I'm driving like an idiot right now, and I have the brake balance at +3 or 3 to the rear. So at least with the Cayman, it's the front tires that are wearing out slightly faster than the rear tires, so I went ahead and moved the brake balance towards the back of the car. But either way, tires still looking pretty good, getting 230s, in which I'm gonna be honest, I should be getting 229s for this race. But the Cayman is pretty terrible. It's not that it drives bad, it's just that it has no power, so it struggles to accelerate, and that really adds up a lot of time. Because again, I should be getting 229s, especially for me being around second split over here in the Americas. But yeah, I'm getting 230s, and that's horrific pace. But anyways, gonna skip over towards the final lap. So lap 16 out of 16, and yeah, still getting 230s. I did make a couple mistakes on some of the laps. So laps number 9 and 13, I might have binned it, but we're gonna keep going, as this is around a 40-minute race for those in GT1, around a 20-minute race for those in GT2 and 3. Yeah, so again, in the Cayman, you don't have to worry too much about tire wear. Just keep an eye on them, move the brake balance towards the back of the car, and you should be good to go. But if you're in the all-wheel drives or the front-wheel drives, then yeah, this race is going to be a nightmare race, as the front tires will be melting off of the face of the earth, and you have to tire save for your life. Even then, the tires will just melt away and you're not gonna have a good time. I mean, I'm not having a good time either because this car is pretty slow, but at least our tires will last the entire race. So that's one redeeming thing about the Cayman. Meanwhile, the Nissan Silvias, the Ferrari 458s, the McLaren 650s, I think those cars are just gonna run this show, as those cars are looking really good, at least in terms of the time trial. I think they'll still do really good in the race. I'm actually not too sure about the McLaren, but I won't be surprised if they do just as well in this race. I know the Silvias are gonna run this show, so yeah, everyone else is just gonna be trying to salvage the points, maybe try to salvage a bit of DR as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this guide. Again, qualify on the racing medium tires, do the race on the racing hard tires. This is a 0-stop race. Do not do a 1-stop because you will lose 52 seconds from the pit stop. So there we go. That's it for this guide. So if you like this video, you can press the like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go to bed now, so have a good night and good luck with this race.